Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late May, early June 2023. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes into energy and see what's going on for the lovely Scorpio collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous, my friends. Let's shuffle it up one time. See what we got. That was odd. I got a little frog in my throat there, but let's see what's up. And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. And I do believe a lot of Scorpios like that portion. So let's get you one card here right now. Let's go, my guides. Talk to me. Let's rock. Okay, so yeah, a lot of you could be looking into the future here when this first card shows up, and the future could be very bright. That's one thing I could say. It's also creative. There's a lot of imagery there, and that's a pretty complex oracle card for us to start off with. So we'll dissect that before we do, though. If you're new here, I'll be speaking about the May subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk about this card. So we see this lovely lady on the beach with the blue dress looking off at the horizon. There's these objects in the sky. There's a rainbow. So when we see this, I think a few different things. One, when I see someone with water in a card, this could be someone analyzing their feelings. So a lot of you could be in that mode where you're really trying to discover and analyze yourself and how you feel and why you feel a certain way. You might be analyzing somebody else's emotional state as well. But to me, this is a card of looking off to the horizon. Okay, so aside from that analysis, you might be really like trying to look into the future and just see where you want to go. What do you want to do? Where am I going to be in a couple of years? There's a huge future focus, but very bright. The fact that there's a rainbow here does tell us that things might look very good for you moving forward if you plan accordingly. So let's just put that down. We're not going to like look into this too much. There's a lot more with this card, you know, so if you want to screenshot it and look into it more yourself, you're more than welcome. But let's get you into the tarot now. I'm going to get you 3 of these cards in the upright before we get into the intuitive juiciness. And I always say the first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get these first 3 out here. Let's shuffle it up for Scorpio, please. Gods, what do we got this week? So last week's reading, my friends, it was titled A Massive Blessing. And if you've been following along for the past few weeks, it seems like for well over a month, maybe a month and a half, like the readings for Scorpio have been like phenomenal, through the roof, through like off the charts good. So even if you've been going through tough times recently, like that tells me that things could be making a big turnaround for a lot of Scorpios. But we're going to see what we have for you this week. As you know, every reading, the energies are very fluid. It's never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, right? Because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's. Let's get you 3. What do we got for Scorpio? Usually Scorpio energy is very intense. Hey, we got the Knight of Cups in position number 1. That's a card that could represent you. It could represent love. It could represent emotions and romance. Just like we were seeing with this woman in the beginning. Let's get you 2 more. It is an action card. It's a movement, forward momentum type of vibe too. More cups. We got the 4 of Cups. Something on the mind here. Either you on someone's mind or someone on yours. There's a lot of that mental. So it's like we're getting a similar encapsulation to what we have going on here. Let's get you 1 more. This is going to be interesting, as with every single Scorpio reading. Hey, there we go. We got the Ace of Wands here. I've been seeing that for the Scorpios recently as well. So here's that burning passion, that desire, that forward movement and momentum. I would say this is good. Let's go through and I'll give you a quick synopsis of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. Now, at first glance, when I look down here, I see 2 cards of the water suit, the cups, emotions, that is very intuitive, psychic, unseen type of energy. We also have the fiery wands on the back end. But one thing I also want to mention is we have 2 strong action cards, but one that is very still. So it's like go, stop, go. Go, stop, go. It's like a stutter step or a juke or something like that. So let's go through real quick and we'll go one by one. Now, position number 1, we have the Knight of Cups. Like I said, it could represent you. It could represent another water sign. This is a Prince Charming type of energy. Silky, smooth talker, says all the right things, does all the right things. It's super smooth. So when we see this, it could be someone like that in your life. It could represent your emotional state when we clarify it. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It could tell us something that's coming towards you or something you're moving towards. But to me, this is a card that is very often showing up in romantic readings as well. But I like the Knight of Cups. The forward action, the forward progress. It's creative, it's loving, and it's a good sign, normally. All right, you know, it really depends on what clarifies it. Now, as we move to the center, this is where we fall away from the action a little bit. We have the Four of Cups right here. Very thought-based. You see this person, they're chilling out, they're under the tree. It looks like they're taking a little bit of a snooze there. So all about that mental activity. So are you in your mind a lot? Are you thinking more than normal? Okay, the clarifier is going to be important here. You might be on someone's mind, vice versa, you know, all that. The one caution with this card is not staying stagnant too long. Spirit might want you to reach out and grab an opportunity when this card shows up. But I just always get the overactive mind, overactive imagination. So you might need to let some of that out. And of course, the deep, powerful feelings. And that's something that shows up in Scorpio readings often, is the intensity. I'm feeling an intensity here, like an intense emotional energy or an intense energy overall. Now, moving to the very back end, we have the Ace of Wands, talk about intense. So like I said, go, stop, and then exploding like a rocket off the back end, we have this Ace of Wands. All aces are opportunities. Been seeing a lot of aces for the water signs recently. And this one in particular is extremely fired up, burning red hot, ready to go. This could be something that really strikes up some motivation within you, really makes you burn white hot when this card shows up. I also say this card is also extremely sexual. Scorpios, I mean, everyone knows Scorpio rules over the lower portions and regions of the body. It's a very sexual sign. This is common knowledge, right? And we're talking Scorpio to Scorpio right now. You know our reputation. So when the Ace of Wands shows up, there is something connecting to sexuality and the libido. You might be burning up a little more than usual, but we're not going to put our mind in the gutter too much here. This doesn't have to be that, right? It could be other things. So when I see the Ace of Wands, I think of that fiery, passionate, forward momentum. So we'll see where this goes. I feel like there's a lot of ways this reading can go. Let's dive deeper. We're going to jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle. What's going on here for Scorpio, please, my guides? What's going on for my friends? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. As you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. What's going on that Knight of Cups? And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why this box is here. If you're feeling any messages that you want to give to Scorpio, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Knight of Cups time. What is this Knight of Cups here? Thank you. Okay. Giving in to something, either giving into a feeling or giving into somebody else. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse underneath this Knight of Cups. Okay, and I don't mean giving in like a bad way. A lot of you might be trying to embrace like your inner peace or embrace peace in general. But when I see the Seven of Wands in reverse, it could also be very freeing type of energy. So I am kind of picking that up in the beginning, either saying, you know what, I really don't want to fight about this no more. I don't want to fight anymore in general. Let's make peace in some sort of way. That's a vibe I'm picking up. The Seven of Wands in reverse, though, could also represent someone being free or a struggle being over. So when I see this, if it's not somebody giving in, it's not giving up, it's giving into something, or it's someone feeling free, like they've taken a load off, or like there's a burden off their back. So for a lot of you, this could be something that's very good. Like you might feel like there's a weight lifted off your shoulders. Very, very good. And in regards to romance or emotional things, this is also very good. Someone not being a slave to their own emotions and feelings. Let's go in on that Four of Cups. I'd say overall, regardless what it's about, this is a good sign in the beginning. I really want to get over to that Ace of Wands. But either way, we're seeing action, right? Because the Seven of Wands is a trapped card that's still, we're getting action, we're getting movement, we're getting change. So let's go in on that Four of Cups. There might be someone you're linked to that is like self-doubting, or they doubt themselves in some sort of way. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands in reverse underneath this Four of Cups. If not, like, yeah, maybe you have dealings with a fire sign. When I see the Queen of Wands, I think of one's, how they view themselves, or one's self-confidence. So when I see it in reverse, hopefully none of you are like looking ahead to the road ahead and are like doubting your abilities to do something, because that's a vibe I'm picking up here. Someone has a little bit of self-doubt. They're like, might be a little nervous to take a step or make a move. Obviously not saying it's every Scorpio. If there's any sign that's very determined and action-oriented, it would be Scorpio, ruled by Mars. There's a lot of confidence in us. But when I see this, there's a self-doubt showing up here. So in the coming days and weeks, watch out for self-doubt, specifically when the Queen of Wands shows up in reverse. Okay? And yeah, if that's not you, this is just somebody that's taken some sort of hit or blow to their confidence. That's like, I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I'm not going to put a message here that I feel doesn't belong, but I really want to get over to that Ace of Wands. I feel like that's an important part of this reading. So let's get over to that Ace of Wands, then we'll do a quick little recap, and then we'll get into the shadow card for you. Notice all fire starting to show up now, that explosive, volatile energy, especially with the emotions. So let's see what that Ace of Wands has to say. Where's that Ace of Wands here? Yep. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, so we have the Three of Swords underneath this Ace of Wands. Oh man. This could really be someone losing their cool about something here. The Three of Swords is a card of heartbreak. It's a card of pain, of course, but it's also air surrounded by all this fire. You know what I say, and I've been saying this explosive energy has been showing up to begin with. This doesn't feel like heartbreak to me, but it's like, all right, yeah, well, I was nice. You know, I started to show you my nice side in the beginning, so you're going to go around and do this. It's like, boom, explosive. So whether it is a conversation, whether it is a talk, like this is someone who is quite upset on the back end. So watch out in this time, Scorpio. You might lose your temper. Okay, you might really lose your temper or just get fed up with someone's stuff. Okay, take from that what you will. All right, like with this Three of Swords, it is pain. But I always say this is on a spectrum. Like, yeah, it could be anxiety and stuff like that. But when you combine it with the Ace of Wands, like this is extremely explosive. So I would say this is a warning, because I was feeling cool, calm, and serene in the very beginning of this. And then we get to the end and it's like a sucker punch of energy that just explodes on the back end, right? So if things seem a little too peaceful, I mean, I'm not going to be a fear monger. You know me. But this is an explosive warning, right? This is a warning about one, you know, just losing it, losing their temper, losing their cool. Now, let's go through and do a quick little recap, and I'll explain to you my reasoning behind it. Because in the front end here, like I said, this feels much cooler, calmer, more serene. In the beginning, we have the Knight of Cups with the Seven of Wands in reverse. I did say this felt like someone letting a weight off, or feeling relieved, feeling free, or giving in, saying like, you know what? For the sake of it, for the sake of peace, I give in. Let's come together. And it's an odd feeling right here, but it is someone like saying, all right, I will soften my stance. Getting to the center, we have the Four of Cups, but this felt good. It felt like forward momentum and progress. In the center, we have the Four of Cups with the Queen of Wands in reverse, and this is someone having self-doubts. Whether you or somebody else, it's like that little lack of self-confidence. Like, can I do this? Can I make this happen? Like a little bit of self-doubt. That all changes when we get to this back end. We have the Ace of Wands with the Three of Swords, and this was like kaboom. That's why I said it's an explosive warning, because it's like, oh, cool, calm, peaceful, thought-based. And then when we get back here, it's just an explosion of energy. So just know, like, there might be certain things that pop up that make you burn red hot. You might lose your temper, or, you know, I don't want to use the word relapse, but there might be something that has happened in the past, and it's like a triggering feeling. That's the best thing I could say here, Scorpio. Like, this here feels like everything's cool, everything's calm, and then this right here just like triggers a reaction, an explosive one. So just do with that what you will. We're going to get into the shadow card here. Please take a screenshot. Okay. And it is someone angry or hurt or annoyed. I mean, it is what it is, right? I would say 2 out of the 3 seem okay. But let's get you one shadow card. Let's see what's in the shadows for Scorpio. And you know me, I always like to pull a shadow card at the end of every reading, just to see whether it's a shadow within yourself or something you don't quite see. It's very introspective. So what's in the shadows for Scorpio, please? Especially after that little curveball in the back end of that reading. Thank you. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles. Especially if someone's making you feel cornered or trapped, that's really not a good thing in this time. The Nine of Pentacles is usually a card that's very sturdy, super abundant, but it can also be something that is quite immovable when we see it. And you see the imagery on this card. This bird is in a cage. It's trapped, okay? It's like there's something about it not moving. So I feel like I need to give that to a lot of Scorpios. Like if someone is making you feel cornered or trapped, that might be the trigger to what we were seeing in the reading itself. Like, and that's something you don't want to do to a Scorpio, is make them feel cornered, okay? That's a huge thing. No, and I know that personally. This card, it does also have warnings about material possessions, like what you own owns you and stuff like that. But to me, it's more about like not letting something bog you down or make you feel trapped, all right? Like you want to avoid this feeling, this shadow, okay? And I always say we want to cast light on these shadows. This one feels more like, let's sidestep this one. So Scorpio, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give the details of the May subscriber surprise. For the May subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 boxes of the beautiful Tarot of the Owls. This is an awesome deck. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed, which I'm sure you already are. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards in this week's reading, which one spoke to you the most. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, I will announce the winners in my community tab at random. As always, my friends, much love to you, and I'll see you next time.